house, and I'm unwilling to ever go back to the house, especially to ever go inside the house again. I never would.
Welcome to Burrillville, Rhode Island, where a seemingly ordinary log home built in 1736 has sparked the curiosity and fear of many. Known today as the Conjuring house, this structure is steeped in ghost stories dating back to its original owners, the Arnold family. Its history is filled with mysterious events and tragic tales that inspired the spine-chilling movie, The Conjuring. But how much of the haunting is reality, and how much is just clever storytelling? Today, the Conjuring house is more than just a residence. It's a major attraction for ghost hunters and tourists, fueled by supernatural tales and managed by controversial staff who claim the hauntings are real. This has made the house a favorite destination for popular YouTubers who come to conduct their ghost hunting adventures, drawing in viewers and visitors from around the globe. Join me as we explore the true story of this eerie dwelling. The house, now known as the Conjuring house, was originally constructed in 1736 in Harrisville, Rhode Island. This property, initially built possibly for the Richardson family, is one of the oldest in the region. Over the centuries, it has been known by various names, reflecting its evolving ownership and the community around it. The region surrounding Harrisville was home to Native American tribes before European settlers arrived, bringing significant changes. The Conjuring house was built as a farmhouse on the newly developed land during the early colonization period. This period was marked by conflicts and the displacement of native populations, which often led to local legends. The Richardson family owned the house, but later became the Arnold families. The Arnold estate, as it was popularly called, was passed down through several generations of Arnolds. Each generation added its own stories to the house's history, with certain family members experiencing unfortunate incidents that later led to rumors of paranormal activity and hauntings. Rumor has it that countless unexplained deaths occurred within the house during the Arnold family's estate ownership. These events became part of the local folklore and helped create a belief that the estate was haunted. Even though the house was sold to new owners, rumors of it being haunted persisted. In December 1970, the Perron family, Carolyn and Roger, and their 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April, moved into the large 14-room farmhouse. With its deep history marked by various unsettling events, this old property soon became the stage for an array of strange phenomena the family would encounter. Right from the start, the Perrons noticed anomalies. Objects would move without explanation, eerie noises could be heard at night, and mysterious messes would appear, disrupting their daily routines. The previous owner had ominously advised them to leave the lights on at night, hinting at the house's dark past. Carolyn researched the house's background and discovered a chilling record of deaths associated with the estate, which seemed to contribute to the disturbances experienced by the parents. According to Carolyn's research, several tragic events mark the history of the estate. Mrs. John Arnold, at the age of 93, tragically ended her own life in the barn. The property's somber past also includes multiple untimely deaths by various means. The unresolved passing of 11-year-old Prudence Arnold under distressing circumstances, accidental drownings in the nearby creek, and the mysterious deaths of 4 men who perished due to extreme cold on the land. Seeking help with the unsettling phenomena in their home, the Perron family turned to Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators. During their investigations, the Warrens pinpointed Bathsheba Sherman as the principal antagonist behind the hauntings. According to rumors, Bathsheba lived in the house in the mid-1800s and had been a practitioner of dark arts, was distantly linked to the solemn witch trials through her relative Mary Town Eastie, one of the women executed for witchcraft in 1692. The Warrens believed that Bathsheba had cursed the land, contributing to the bizarre events and hauntings experienced at the farmhouse. Popular legend and the movie depiction suggest that Bathsheba died by taking her own life after a grim act involving her son. They held a séance as part of their efforts to cleanse the house, an event that dramatically escalated when Carolyn Perron reportedly became possessed. This intense episode deeply alarmed Roger Perron and led to his decision to expel the Warrens from their home, prioritizing his family's safety. Due to economic constraints, the Perrons could not leave their home despite their strong desire to do so. They endured a decade of paranormal disturbances before finally being able to move out in 1980. Their experiences while living in the Arnold estate profoundly impacted each family member, leaving a lasting impression they carried with them for the rest of their lives. Years later, Andrea Perron, the eldest daughter, detailed their haunting experiences in her trilogy, House of Darkness, House of Light. These books offer a comprehensive account that intertwines the supernatural experiences of the Perrons with the dark historical tapestry of the estate they uncovered, continuing the narrative of mystery and intrigue that has surrounded the property since the days of the Arnold family. Norma Sutcliffe and Gerald Helfrich bought what they thought was their dream home in 1987, attracted by its historic charm and peaceful location. However, their tranquility was disrupted in 2013 when the movie The Conjuring was released. The film was based on supposed paranormal activities that had allegedly occurred in their farmhouse, and it turned their property into a destination for fans and enthusiasts of the paranormal. As a result, the couple's privacy was severely invaded, leading them to sue Warner Brothers in New Line and director James Wan for negligence. They claimed that the filmmakers had used their home's likeness without consent and had failed to consider the disruptive impact on their lives. Norma and Gerald firmly denied that they had ever experienced any unexplainable or paranormal activity, which sharply contrasts with the storyline depicted in the movie. However, the friendship between Norma and Andrea Perron becomes strained after the movie's release. Initially, they were friends, but their relationship deteriorated after Andrea promised Norma she was not involved in the film's production. Despite this, Andrea later admitted in interviews that she had a long-standing contract with the studio. Additionally, she posted a YouTube video discussing paranormal activities that allegedly took place in Norma's house, including experiences that involved Norma and her family. This went against Norma's explicit wishes to maintain her family's privacy. This breach of trust led to a falling out between Andrea and Norma. In the video, it initially seemed that Norma was corroborating these supernatural occurrences.
Fortunately, I'm sorry, your mother got to the point where it became so oppressive for her in future years. But what I, at the time, because of, like I say, I was knowledgeable of the ghost stories, it didn't frighten me, and I just found it fascinating. It was, to me, another step into another realm that I had not knew about, studied a lot about.
However, Norma later clarified that any odd occurrences they noticed in the home could be logically explained, and reiterated her disbelief in ghosts. She felt betrayed and manipulated by Andrea, who had portrayed their experiences as paranormal despite Norma's objections. Norma subsequently posted her own YouTube video to express her frustrations and debunk the myths about the house, emphasizing that the farmhouse's historical and supposed paranormal legacy had been grossly exaggerated for entertainment. Through their legal actions and public statements, Norma and Gerald have highlighted the profound impact that cinematic portrayals can have on real people's lives. Carolyn Perron's narrative about the Conjuring house is filled with chilling accounts of past tragedies, but a closer examination of historical records paints a very different picture. For instance, Carolyn claimed that Prudence Arnold was murdered in their home, a tale that added a sinister allure to the house's history. However, the actual location of Prudence Arnold's tragic murder was in Uxbridge, Massachusetts, not within the walls of the Perron's Rhode Island farmhouse. Similarly, Carolyn's stories of traumatic deaths are misaligned with historical facts. She spoke of John Arnold Jr. taking his life in the attic and his wife Susan Arnold hanging herself in the barn. In truth, John Arnold Jr. died a natural death in Barboursville, and Susan Arnold ended her life in her own home on Harrisville Road, not on the property. Susan, or Mrs. Arnold, was believed to be the evil entity in the house by Andrea Perron, due to the story that she took her life in the barn in 1797 at the age of 93. It is important to note that Bathsheba Sherman, who was portrayed as a witch in The Conjuring, was not involved in any dark rituals or murder. Historical records clearly show that she never lived on the property and did not die by taking her life. She passed away from natural causes, specifically due to a stroke at the age of 73. It's worth noting that a Baptist minister conducted her funeral, and she received a Christian burial, which indicates that there were no credible accusations of witchcraft or evil deeds against her. Her son, Herbert Leander Sherman, did not die as a baby, but passed away at the age of 46. Such stories have unfairly tarnished her reputation, leading to the vandalism of her gravesite by those who wrongly believe she was a sinister entity. This misrepresentation has caused her to be blamed for numerous supposed paranormal activities at the house, perpetuating a false narrative, sensationalized for profit. When the Perron family bought the property, they claimed that the previous owner, Mr. Kenyon, warned them to keep the lights on to avoid spirits. However, the Kenyon family disagreed with these claims and left letters with a historical society stating that the property had never been haunted. Furthermore, Carolyn's claimed that Dexter Richardson was the owner of the house and its relation to the murder of Prudence Arnold has been proven to be unfounded. After conducting thorough research and examining historical documents, no evidence was found to support Richardson's ownership of the property or any record of a murder taking place there. Andrea Perron, accompanied by her father and a reporter, visited the home years before the movie's release. Andrea claimed that Bathsheba attacked her while she was alone with Norma Sutcliffe. However, in her YouTube video, Norma denied witnessing any such incident. The reporter later reached out to Norma, expressing skepticism about the event, stating, "I never wrote the story that day because I felt a fraud was being perpetrated, and I wanted no part of it, and I believed none of it." Through meticulous research and historical scrutiny, it becomes apparent that many of the tales associated with the Conjuring house have been either misconstrued or fabricated. Ed and Lorraine Warren's interaction with the Perron family, as depicted in The Conjuring, significantly dramatizes and extends their involvement, stirring both scrutiny and skepticism. Initially called to address disturbing paranormal events at the Perrons' farmhouse, the Warrens' investigative conclusions have sparked controversy. Upon delving into local folklore and the history of the area, they encountered unsubstantiated rumors about Bathsheba Sherman, including a heinous accusation of using a knitting needle in the murder of her child. These stories lacked historical verification, but significantly influenced the Warrens' perspective. Lorraine noticed puncture-like wounds on Carolyn Perron's leg, similar to injuries from knitting needles. The Warrens attributed the hauntings to Bathsheba's spirit based on anecdotal correlations and little concrete evidence. The Warrens' stay at the Perrons' home was short-lived. During their stay, one of the main events was a seance held to communicate with spirits. However, Carolyn was allegedly possessed during the seance, which increased tensions within the household. Roger Perron, who was skeptical and concerned about his wife's mental health, became increasingly annoyed with the dramatic methods of the Warrens. His frustration peaked during the seance, which ended with a physical fight where he forced Ed Warren out of their home. This confrontation marked the end of the Warrens' involvement with the Perrons, starkly contrasting their essential role in the film's narrative. The credibility of Ed and Lorraine Warren has been significantly tarnished by disturbing allegations that surfaced after the film's release in 2013. Warner Brothers executives were reportedly informed that Ed Warren had maintained a decades-long sexual relationship with Judith Penny, who was just 15 when it began. According to Penny's sworn declaration, Lorraine Warren was aware of Penny's relationship with Ed. She lived with the Warrens as Ed's lover for about 40 years. Penny claimed she got pregnant with Ed's child in 1978, had an abortion under pressure from Lorraine to avoid scandal. This revelation has raised questions about the Warrens' image as devout Catholics and moral role models. Tony DeRosa Grunt, a producer familiar with the Warrens, spoke out about Ed. In the end, the reputations of Ed and Lorraine Warren as trustworthy paranormal investigators are seriously questioned by instances of alleged fraud. Notably, during their investigation of the Amityville haunting, they claimed encounters with spirits that were later broadly dismissed as fabrications. Further, their involvement with the infamous Devil Made Me Do It case and the Snedeker haunting, where a co-author claimed they encouraged making up details to create a more compelling story, casts a long shadow on their credibility. These examples show a trend where the appeal of fame and financial gain seems to have influenced their findings, raising questions about their contributions to paranormal research. In June 2019, paranormal investigators Corey and Jennifer Heinzen bought the notorious Rhode Island farmhouse, and reports of supernatural encounters began almost immediately. Doors mysteriously opened, footsteps echoed without a source, and eerie knocks sounded through the halls. These unsettling events were enough for some family members to retreat to Maine, declaring the house almost unlivable.
That's what concerns me because, it's already taken on these shapes, dark figures, dark masses, dark mists, black smoke. You know, do I have to be concerned about my kids? Absolutely. Do I have to be concerned about my wife? Absolutely. You know, so it's trying to take it one day at a time.
Despite these claims, the Heinzens saw potential in the property, envisioning it as a hub for tours and paranormal investigations. The Heinzens emphasized that the property is not a traditional bed and breakfast or hotel. Instead, visitors are accommodated somewhat rustically, and with cots, as the beds are off limits. The rooms maintain a minimalist, farmhouse Gothic decor, complete with Ouija boards and sinister-looking rag dolls. Rates for staying overnight started at $125 per person, with a special weekend rate of $750 for up to 6 people and $125 for each additional guest. However, the emotional toll of residing in a home with such a charged history and the challenge of updating its outdated facilities became too much. After enduring 3 years of managing this unusual endeavor, while juggling their personal lives in Maine, the ongoing strain on Corey's health and the operational stress compelled them to sell the property. The house was sold to Jacqueline Nunez, a Boston developer who has a keen interest in the paranormal. She was fascinated by the house's story and believed it had the potential to connect with the afterlife. Jacqueline paid $1.5 million for the property, significantly higher than the asking price. For her, the acquisition was a real estate transaction and a personal journey influenced by her deep spiritual beliefs and her conviction that consciousness persists beyond death. Nunez has kept the Heinzens' legacy alive by allowing the public to access the house for paranormal investigations and tours. Madison Heinzen, the previous owner's daughter and a popular TikTok personality, often hosts these events. She shares eerie tales and experiences from living in the house during these tours. As a result, the property remains a significant location for those intrigued by its haunted history and the stories of previous inhabitants. The Conjuring house has transitioned into a premium paranormal attraction, with admission prices reflecting its newfound status. Visitors can explore the infamous Rhode Island farmhouse, but at a higher cost. Although the costs of visiting the property have significantly increased, which may limit accessibility for many potential guests, the owner has upgraded the property to provide a more comfortable experience, similar to staying at an inn with improved facilities, increased security measures, and additional staff. Nevertheless, it's clear that the new rates are quite high, potentially putting a visit to the property out of reach for many enthusiasts. The current stuff includes Madison Heinzen and the paranormal couple Cody and Satori. Their rise to popularity, fueled by appearances with well-known YouTubers such as Sam and Colby and Project Fear, has not come without controversy. As their profile grows, so does the scrutiny from skeptics who question the authenticity of their methods and findings in the paranormal realm. Cody Ray DeBiens and Satori Hawes are standout figures in the world of paranormal investigation. They are both members of the Atlantic Paranormal Society, TAPS, and the Rhode Island Society for the Examination of Unusual Phenomena, Rise Up. Satori, the daughter of famed ghost hunter Jason Hawes, has been immersed in the paranormal world her whole life. She blends her academic studies in art and art history with her paranormal research. This combination allows her to explore paranormal phenomena's emotional and psychological aspects. Cody is a technical expert who adds a scientific dimension to the work of a team of paranormal investigators. He specializes in audio and investigative equipment and takes a systematic and fact-based approach. Cody has battled and overcome leukemia, which has only deepened his commitment to exploring the paranormal. With Satori, he also manages the paranormal couple's haunted museum of objects, oddities, and curiosities, a collection of haunted items from around the world. Their partnership is notably strengthened by a shared ability to communicate with the other side, a talent they claim to manifest when they join hands, producing a series of knocking sounds that they describe as a form of paranormal Morse code. This ability reportedly allows them to receive direct responses from the spirit world, although it's a claim that has sparked considerable controversy. This controversy was highlighted during their appearance on the YouTube channel Sam and Colby, where they demonstrated their unique communication method at the Conjuring house.
Go through the alphabet. When I get to the first letter of your name, you're gonna knock. I'll restart. When I get to the second letter, you're gonna knock, and I'll keep restarting until I spell out things, okay? All right, so I'm gonna get your first name, A, B, Abigail, Abigail Arnold? Perfect. It's great to talk to you.
Some viewers were skeptical, accusing them of faking the phenomena by making knocking sounds with their ankles and dismissing it as a deceptive trick. The real question is whether Cody and Satori's claimed ability to communicate with spirits is genuine. If not, what could be driving them to make such claims? There is speculation that the supposed ability of Cody and Satori to communicate with spirits may be due to a technique similar to the one used in a notorious 19th century hoax. The Fox sisters created the spiritualism movement in 1848 by producing knocking sounds with their toe joints, and it is alleged that Cody might be using a similar method. Initially, the Fox sisters produced sounds as a playful prank, but it soon became a nationwide craze, deceiving many people. They later admitted that their communications were hoaxes, casting doubt on similar claims that persist today. Many people have drawn parallels between Cody and Satori's methods and this early example of paranormal fraud, questioning the authenticity of their claims. Barry, a TikToker, has recently showcased his ability to create knocking sounds using only his toes. In his demonstration, Barry performs barefoot and on a pillow and controls the volume and direction of the sounds, making them seem as if they're moving across the room. He points out that despite not practicing regularly, his technique is subtle and effective. He suggests that Cody, refining this skill for years, can easily produce similar effects. Several YouTubers, including John Wolf, Mythos Paranormal, Beardo Gets Scared, Boo Paranormal Productions, and The Side-Eye Guy, have taken a closer look at Cody and Satori's paranormal claims. They've created detailed videos that dissect the couple's methods and highlight inconsistencies. These videos are quite thorough and provide a wealth of information and analysis. Check them out to gain a clearer perspective and help you form your own opinions about the authenticity of Cody and Satori's abilities. While this video isn't focused on debunking, I will share some clips from these creators that present compelling evidence suggesting Cody and Satori may be engaging in fraudulent activities. Full videos are posted in the description. If you want a more detailed analysis of the paranormal couple with my own investigative insights, please let me know in the comments below.
So I don't know if you saw that or not. You may need a bigger screen to see it. I focused in on it, and so I think that just adds to the mountain of proof that he is doing this with his toes.
Even if that was us, that would be going on right now.
Yeah, because that's what it would be doing.
What is that?
Here, move around the room. Can you walk?
Yeah, now it's over here.
Cody and Satori claim they discovered their ability to communicate with spirits only when they met and had physical contact. They state that they had no prior knowledge of this ability and suggest that it is unique to their partnership. However, a video from 2012 shows Cody using the same technique to communicate with spirits during a paranormal investigation, but Satori is not present.
He's here. Alright, he's here. Let's see. See if we can try to find out his name like we did in the past. Okay. The alphabet. Alright. So I'm gonna ask you, try figuring out your name here. I'm gonna go through the alphabet, and when I get to the first letter of your name, I want you to give me a knock.
1 for yes, 2 for no.
Yep. A. B.
First letter is B.
The inconsistency in their account of events brings up doubts about the truthfulness of their narrative. But how did Cody and Satori know specific information about the people they are supposedly communicating with from the other side? The answer might be simpler than it seems: research. In today's digital age, nearly everyone has an online presence. This makes it relatively easy to find detailed information about individuals, especially public figures like Sam and Colby, just by browsing social media or conducting a simple web search. For instance, during an emotional episode where Cody and Satori conducted a reading for Sam about his deceased grandmother, they referred to her by the nickname Libby. Sam expressed astonishment, claiming that nobody ever could know his grandmother's nickname. However, a quick search reveals that Sam's grandmother's obituary, which includes her nickname, is publicly accessible online. While this alone doesn't prove that Cody and Satori's abilities are fabricated, it raises questions about the source of their information. Another example is when Project Fear visited the Conjuring house. During their visit, Cody and Satori claimed to have contacted Dakota Layden's grandfather Tom, even mentioning that they used to smoke cigars together. How could they know such a specific detail? John Wolfe explores this in depth in his video Conjuring House Conspiracy.
Who wants to give one last message?
And his grandpa Tom answers. Tom tells Dakota to have a cigar for me.
He said, have a cigar for me.
Whoa. Oh, so you Googled Dakota Layden grandpa, and the very first result is a photo of the two of them smoking cigars, did you? Well then, prove it. Name a brand.
While Cody and Satori don't directly charge for their readings, it is still evident that they affect people's emotions. Pretending to communicate with someone's deceased loved ones can affect those who are grieving, potentially exacerbating the pain rather than providing the closure they seek.
Pretty clear what I think of Kotori's little magic trick, and not only do I think it's exceptionally cruel of them to impersonate the spirits of deceased loved ones, but to dangle this image in front of Dakota of his grandfather with his memory restored, that's low even for them.
Jacqueline Nunez, the owner of the house, recently voiced her frustration with those who doubt Cody and Satori's abilities. She called out Mythos Paranormal and Bad to the Bone Paranormal, accusing them of slandering Cody and Satori. However, fostering scientific discussion and debate isn't slander. It's a vital part of the search for truth. Engaging openly with scientists, believers, and skeptics is essential if we truly want to deepen our understanding of the paranormal. This conversation is a platform for questioning, learning, and sharing ideas in a curious community. By calling out skepticism as slander, she might be protecting Cody and Satori. But is this preventing a much-needed open dialogue in the paranormal community? What do you all think? Despite varying opinions, the Conjuring House's enduring allure and rich history are undeniable. Its haunting presence, or lack thereof, remains a mystery. But the ongoing controversies and accusations of fabricated evidence do little to aid the pursuit of truth. If behind-the-scenes manipulations for personal gain are indeed happening, they tarnish the house's legacy. We can only hope that the truth will eventually come to light, whether you're a believer or a skeptic. The Conjuring House is bound to captivate your curiosity. That wraps up our exploration of the Conjuring House and its eerie stories. What are your thoughts? Is the house haunted, or are these just well-spun tales? And what about Cody and Satori, genuine communicators with the dead or clever illusionists? Share your opinions in the comments below. If you found this intriguing, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more discussions like this. Thanks for watching.